After accompanying her boyfriend for 7 years of hard work, the scumbag changed the bride right before the wedding and humiliated her terribly. In a fit of anger, she decided to auction off her own marriage. Unexpectedly, the richest CEO directly lit the sky lantern and won the bid, protecting her dearly and making the cheating couple pay the price. When the wedding march played, the person walking toward Fu Yangju wasn't me, it was his first love, Su Wanqing, wearing the wedding dress I spent 3 months altering with my own hands. Fu Yangju held the microphone and said in front of all the guests, "Qingya, I'm sorry, the one I've always loved is Wanqing." The red carpet stretched all the way from the hotel entrance to the stage, lined on both sides with my favorite white roses. Today was my wedding day to Fu Yangju. I sat in the dressing room in my white gown, my palms drenched in sweat. 7 years, from age 21 to 28, I gave Fu Yangju the best years of my youth. 7 years ago, he was still a penniless student with a shabby business plan in hand. He said to me, "Qingya, trust me, I will give you a good life." I believed him. I took all my savings and secretly took another 200,000 yuan of my parents' pension money to give him as startup capital. I gave up my graduate school admission and my dream of becoming an interior designer to start a business with him. When the company was first founded, it was just the two of us. He handled the technology, I handled finance, administration, HR, and even cleaning. To close a deal, I slept only 3 hours a day for a month and ended up in the hospital with a stomach bleed from drinking. To save money, we lived in a basement of less than 10 square meters for 2 years, no heating in winter, no air conditioning in summer. Everyone advised me that Fu Yangju was unreliable and that sticking with him would bring hardship, but I didn't care. I believed in him, I believed he would succeed, I believed he would fulfill his promise to give me a grand wedding and a happy home. Today he had finally succeeded. His company was valued at over 100 million. He had become a tech upstart everyone envied. Our wedding was held at the best 5-star hotel in the city, with hundreds of guests. I thought I had finally found happiness, but I was wrong. "Sister Qingya, this is bad." Bridesmaid Lin Miao rushed into the dressing room in a panic. "Mr. Fu, he's walking onto the stage with Su Wanqing." The veil slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. "What did you say?" I asked in disbelief. "It's true." Lin Miao was on the verge of tears. "Su Wanqing is wearing your wedding dress, holding Mr. Fu's arm, and the ceremony is underway." I stood up abruptly, lifted my wedding gown, and ran out of the dressing room. Inside the banquet hall, the wedding march played melodiously. All the guests stood up, smiling toward the stage. On the stage stood Fu Yangju in a sharp suit, a blissful smile on his face. Beside him was a woman in a white wedding dress. It was Su Wanqing, his first love, the woman who had once looked down on him for being poor and left the country with a wealthy heir. The wedding dress she was wearing was the one I had painstakingly altered for 3 months. Every stitch held my hopes for the future. Now it adorned another woman. My mind went blank. The blood in my veins seemed to freeze. Standing at the entrance of the banquet hall watching that couple on stage, I felt like a complete fool. Fu Yangju saw me. There was no guilt in his eyes, only a trace of impatience. He picked up the microphone and said to all the guests, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for this awkward situation. The truth is, Wanqing and I are the ones truly in love. If she hadn't gone abroad back then, we would have been married long ago. The only reason I got together with Qingya was because she kept pushing for marriage. I had planned to discuss divorce with her after the wedding, but Wanqing came today and I can't let her down again. Qingya, I'm sorry, I know you love me deeply, but feelings can't be forced. Don't worry, I'll give you some compensation." As soon as he finished speaking, his mother, Zhong Guilan, walked up from the audience. She pointed at my nose and launched into a tirade. Qingya, you shameless woman. Our Yangju never wanted to marry you. You clung to him like a pest. Look at you, married for 3 years and not a single child. You're nothing but a hen that doesn't lay eggs. The Fu family would never want a daughter-in-law like you. Now that Wanqing is back, get lost. Don't embarrass yourself here any longer." After speaking, she raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. A sharp, crisp smack echoed through the air. My cheek stung fiercely, but my heart ached even more, so much that I could barely breathe. 7 years of devotion, 7 years of youth, 7 years of waiting, and this was the outcome. Being replaced as the bride in public, being falsely accused of coercing marriage, being slapped by my mother-in-law. Every effort I made was utterly denied. Every hope I cherished turned to dust. I looked at the smug couple on the stage and then at the guests' eyes, full of sympathy, contempt, and amusement. Suddenly I laughed so hard that tears streamed down my face. Fu Yangju Zhongguilan Su Wanqing, do you really think He Qingya is someone so easily bullied? I raised my hand and pulled off the diamond ring on my ring finger. It was the engagement ring Fu Yangju gave me, costing him 3 months' salary. I once treasured it as a precious gem, wearing it every day. Now I hurled it with all my might at Fu Yangju's face. The ring struck his forehead, leaving a red mark. Fu Yangju was stunned. All the guests were stunned as well. I snatched the microphone from the host. Clearing my throat, I announced loudly to all the guests, Fu Yangju, since you're so unwilling to marry me, I'll grant your wish today. I don't want this marriage anymore. Right now, I'm auctioning off this marriage, the identity of Fu Yangju's fiancé plus the wedding house and car he promised, as well as 30% of the shares in Yangju Technologies. Starting bid 1 million. The whole crowd erupted in an uproar. Everyone looked at me in disbelief. Fu Yangju snapped back to reality, his face turning livid with anger. He Qingya, are you crazy? How can you auction off a marriage? Stop making a fool of yourself here. You're the one making a fool of yourself, President Fu, I said coldly. You're the one swapping the bride at your own wedding. You're the one who betrayed 7 years of feelings. I'm just dealing with what's mine. Any problem with that? Is there any bidder? I scanned the room. If no one bids, then I'll donate all of this to charity. The entire hall fell dead silent. No one dared to bid. After all, no one wanted to offend Fu Yangju, the newly rising tech mogul. Fu Yangju smiled smugly. He thought I was just throwing a tantrum. He thought that after I was done, I would still obediently listen to him just like before. If you've had enough fun, get down here. Stop embarrassing yourself, Fu Yangju said impatiently. Just then, from the last row came a deep magnetic voice, not loud, yet it rang clearly through the entire banquet hall. 100 million. I'll take it. All eyes immediately turned to the last row. A man stood up from his seat. He was wearing a black tailored suit, with a tall and upright posture and an air of refined nobility. His deep-set features were handsome, his gaze cold and sharp, exuding a powerful aura that kept strangers at a distance. When the crowd clearly saw his face, a burst of exclamations rang through the venue. Oh my God, it's Shen Yuqing of the Shen Group, the richest man in the country. What is he doing here? Does he know Fu Yangju? Fu Yangju's smile instantly froze on his face. His complexion turned even whiter than paper. Who is Shen Yuqing? He is the man standing at the top of the pyramid. His Shen Group spans multiple sectors including real estate, finance, and technology, with assets exceeding 1 trillion. Fu Yangju's Yangju Tech isn't even fit to tie Shen Yuqing's shoelaces in comparison. Shen Yuqing walked step by step toward the stage. The crisp sound of his leather shoes echoed on the marble floor. With each step, Fu Yangju's face turned a shade paler. When he reached my side, Shen Yuqing took off his suit jacket and gently draped it over my shoulders. The jacket carried a faint scent of cedarwood, warm and reassuring. I looked up at him. It was the first time I had seen him this close. His gaze was calm, without a single ripple, yet it inexplicably made me feel at ease. Mr. Shen, what do you mean by this? Fu Yangju asked, forcing himself to stay composed. Shen Yuqing didn't look at him. Instead he looked at me, his voice low and gentle. Miss He, are you all right? I shook my head. I'm fine. Shen Yuqing nodded. Then he turned his head and looked at Fu Yangju, his gaze instantly turning ice cold. President Fu, just now Miss He mentioned that the auction includes all her property rights in this engagement, including the matrimonial home, the car, and 30% of the shares in Yangju Technology, with a starting bid of 1 million yuan. I bid 100 million yuan. Is there any higher bid? The entire room fell into dead silence. Who would dare to outbid Shen Yuqing? Are they tired of living? Since there are no higher bids, Shen Yuqing took out his phone and said to the lawyer beside him, "Bring the auction agreement and have Miss He sign it." The lawyer immediately handed over the pre-prepared agreement and pen. Fu Yangju finally came to his senses. He rushed over, trying to snatch the agreement. "President Shen, this won't do. Marriage isn't a transaction. This is invalid." "President Fu, watch your language." Shen Yuqing's lawyer stopped him and said coldly, "Miss He isn't auctioning off a marriage, but all of her property rights and interests tied to this engagement. This is legal and valid. Moreover, President Shen has already transferred 100 million yuan into Miss He's account. The auction is complete." Fu Yangju was stunned. He took out his phone and saw the transfer notification from the bank. 100 million yuan had indeed arrived. His face instantly turned ashen. I picked up the pen and signed my name on the auction agreement. My handwriting was firm, without a trace of hesitation. After signing, I handed the agreement to the lawyer. Then, looking at Fu Yangju, I said calmly, "President Fu, from now on we're even. What you owed me, President Shen has already paid back for you. From now on we have nothing to do with each other." With that, I turned and walked away. Shen Yucheng followed close by as we left the banquet hall together. Left behind, Fu Yangju and Su Wanqing stood on the stage, facing the pointing and whispering of all the guests. Outside the hotel, sunlight fell on me. I took a deep breath. The air was filled with the scent of freedom. The shackles of 7 years had finally been broken by my own hands. Shen Yucheng's car was parked at the hotel entrance, a black Rolls-Royce. The driver opened the door and I bent down to get in. Shen Yucheng followed. The car slowly pulled away from the hotel. I watched the scenery recede outside the window, my heart filled with mixed emotions. My phone kept ringing, calls from Fu Yangju, from my parents, from various relatives and friends. I turned it off directly, instantly. The world fell silent inside the car. Only the two of us remained. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward. I turned my head, looked at Shen Yucheng and said sincerely, "President Shen, thank you so much for today. If it weren't for you, I really wouldn't have known what to do." "No need to thank me." Shen Yucheng looked at me with calm eyes. "I just couldn't stand what Fu Yangju did." But I hesitated for a moment, then asked anyway, "Why did you spend 100 million to bid on these things? All of this together is worth at most 10 million. Shen Yucheng looked out the window and said calmly, "Money is just a number to me, but a woman's dignity is priceless." I was stunned. Looking at his profile, a warm current surged in my heart. At my most humiliated and helpless moment, when everyone was laughing at me, this stranger stepped forward. He bought my dignity for 100 million yuan. "But," I said, "you spent 100 million and got nothing in return. The shares of Yangju Technology are a hot potato right now. Fu Yangju certainly won't hand them over easily." "I don't need him to hand them over." Shen Yucheng turned to look at me, his gaze firm. "What belongs to you, I will help you take back, little by little. Besides," he paused, then added, "it's not true that I got nothing. I got the chance to meet you." My heart skipped a beat. I looked into his deep eyes, my cheeks growing slightly warm. I quickly turned my head to look out the window. Soon, the car stopped outside the rental apartment where I lived. I unbuckled my seatbelt and said to Shen Yucheng, "President Shen, I've troubled you too much today. I'm home, you should go back." "All right." Shen Yucheng nodded and handed me a business card. "This is my card, feel free to call me anytime." I took the card and nodded. "Okay, thank you." I pushed open the door and got out of the car. At the entrance to the stairwell, I looked back. Shen Yucheng's car was still there. He sat in the car watching me. Seeing me turn around, he waved. I waved back, then turned and walked into the hallway. Back in the rental apartment, I threw myself onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. I finally couldn't hold back my tears. Everything that happened today felt like a nightmare. 7 years of love gone in an instant. The person I once believed I would spend my life with actually treated me this way. But it's okay, it's all in the past. From today onward, I, He Qingya, am no longer that little woman who revolved around Fu Yangju. I'm going to live for myself. I wiped away my tears and got up from the bed. I walked to the corner and moved aside a heavy cabinet. Beneath the cabinet was a hidden compartment. I opened it and took out an iron box. Inside the iron box were all the company ledgers, transfer records, promissory notes, and the silent shareholder agreement from the past 7 years. These were my trump cards, and they were also what Fu Yangju feared the most. "Fu Yangju, do you think you've won? The game has only just begun." I picked up my phone and called Lin Miao. "Miao Miao, help me get things ready. Tomorrow we're going to the company to take back what belongs to us." After hanging up on Lin Miao, I poured everything inside the iron box onto the table, a thick stack of ledgers, piles of bank statements, and the promissory notes and silent shareholder agreements written by Fu Yangju himself. Each one recorded my 7 years of dedication. I picked up the ledger on top. It's from 2019, the first year the company was founded. Every single expense in the ledger was pitifully small: the cheapest servers, the cheapest desks, the cheapest printing paper. Even utility bills had to be meticulously budgeted. I remember that winter, to save on heating costs, we wore down jackets in the office while working. Fu Yangju's hands were so cold he couldn't write code, so I bought him a hand warmer and charged it for him every day to save on food. We ate instant noodles every day for 3 months straight. By the end, the mere sight of instant noodles made me want to throw up. But back then we were happy together. We dreamed about the future, believing that as long as we worked hard we would surely succeed. Now he has succeeded, but he kicked me aside. How ironic. I turned the pages of the ledger one by one, tears dripping onto the paper and blurring the ink. Just then the doorbell rang. I wiped my tears and walked over to open the door. It was Shen Yuqing. He stood at the entrance holding a thermal flask. "Mr. Shen, why are you here?" I asked in surprise. "I figured you probably haven't eaten." Shen Yuqing walked in and set the thermal flask on the table. "I brought you some porridge." He opened the flask, and a rich, savory aroma wafted out. It was century egg and lean pork congee. "Thank you, Mr. Shen," I said, a little embarrassed. "You're welcome." Shen Yuqing looked at the ledgers on the table, his expression turning serious. "Are these all the ledgers from Yangju Technology?" "Yes," I nodded. 7 years worth, all of them are here." Shen Yuqing picked up one ledger and flipped through a few pages, his brow furrowed more and more deeply. "Fu Yangju is quite bold," Shen Yuqing sighed. "There are many records here of him embezzling company funds." "I know," I said. "In recent years he has frequently transferred company money into his personal accounts under various pretexts, buying houses, cars, and luxury goods for Su Wanqing. I've recorded all of it." "Why didn't you expose him sooner?" Shen Yuqing asked. I smiled bitterly. Back then I still had illusions about him. I thought he was just temporarily misguided and would come to his senses one day. Now I see I was too naive. Shen Yuqing looked at me with eyes full of sympathy. "It's not your fault," he said. "He's the one who is utterly ungrateful, but it's not too late." He placed the ledger back on the table. "With this evidence, we can not only get your shares back but also send him to prison." "I don't want him to go to prison." I shook my head. "I just want back what belongs to me. I can't get back the 7 years of my youth, but I must reclaim the fruits of those 7 years of work." "All right," Shen Yuqing nodded. "Whatever you say." Just then, my phone rang. It was Lin Miao. "Qingya, bad news." Lin Miao's voice was urgent. "Fu Yangju just took people to the finance department, moved out all the computers and changed the lock. He said he's going to destroy all the ledgers." I had expected him to do this. "Don't panic, meow meow," I said calmly. "The real ledgers are with me. What he took were just useless copies." "That's a relief." Lin Miao breathed a sigh of relief. "Also, Fu Yangju has frozen all your bank cards and announced in the company group chat that you embezzled funds and fled. Everyone is in a panic now." "I understand," I said. "Help me keep the employees steady. Meet me at the company entrance tomorrow at 9 in the morning. I'll give everyone an explanation then." "Okay, got it." After hanging up, I looked at Shen Yuqing and smiled helplessly. "You see, he's still so childish. He thinks destroying the ledgers will shift all the blame onto me." "He's just panicking," Shen Yuqing said. "He knows that once those ledgers come to light, he's finished. Tomorrow we'll go to the company together." He looked at me with determined eyes. "I want to see how long he can keep up his arrogance." "All right," I nodded. With Shen Yuqing by my side, I felt much more at ease. The next morning at 9, Shen Yuqing and I arrived at the Yangju Technology building on time. Lin Miao was already waiting at the entrance with more than a dozen technical staff. These employees had been with us since the company's early days. They all knew how much I had contributed and were disgusted by Fu Yangju's actions. "Qingya," Lin Miao ran over as soon as she saw me. "Everyone's here." I looked at the employees, deeply moved. "Qingya, we all believe in you, right? That ingrate Fu Yangju, we've been wanting to leave him for a long time. Qingya, just tell us what to do." "Thank you everyone," I said, touched. "Thank you for trusting me. Today I will give you all an explanation. Let's go." I led everyone into the company lobby. The receptionist turned pale with fright at the sight of us and immediately called Fu Yangju. "Mr. Fu, bad news. Miss He has brought a lot of people over, and also President Shen of the Shen Group." Not long after, Fu Yangju walked out of the elevator with several security guards. When he saw He Qingya and Shen Yuqing, his expression turned grim. "He Qingya, how dare you come here?" Fu Yangju pointed at me and shouted, "You embezzled company funds, fled to avoid prosecution, and now you dare to bring people here to cause trouble. I've already called the police." "Fu Yangju, stop slandering me," I said coldly. "You know full well who embezzled the funds. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to take back what belongs to me. I am a co-founder of Yangju Technology, holding 30% of the shares. I demand an extraordinary general meeting to remove you from your position as CEO, co-founder 30% of the shares. Fu Yangju laughed, his laugh dripping with mockery. He Qingya, dream on. The company was founded by me alone and it has nothing to do with you. You were just an accountant I hired, paying your salary was already more than you deserved. Is that so? I pulled out the dormant shareholder agreement and the promissory note, holding them up for everyone to see. Take a good look, everyone. This is the dormant shareholder agreement Fu Yangju wrote himself 7 years ago, stating that I own 30% of the company's shares. And here is the promissory note. The 200,000 yuan startup capital he used was my parents' retirement savings. He wrote this note himself, complete with his signature and fingerprint. Fu Yangju, do you still dare to say the company has nothing to do with me? Fu Yangju's face turned pale. Instantly, he hadn't expected me to still have these things. The employees began to whisper among themselves upon seeing the agreement and note. So Qingya really is a co-founder. I knew it when the company first started. Qingya was busier than President Fu. President Fu is such a jerk, he tried to take the whole company for himself. Hearing the murmurs, Fu Yangju grew even more flustered. These are all fake, you forged them. Fu Yangju shouted. Security, throw them out. Several security guards rushed forward, but before they could get close they were stopped by Shen Yuqing's bodyguards. Shen Yuqing stepped forward, looking at Fu Yangju with icy eyes. President Fu, I suggest you show some respect. The agreement and note in MS. His possession have been verified by lawyers as authentic and valid. If you utter another word of nonsense or lay a hand on MS, I will have my lawyer sue you immediately for defamation and personal assault. Fu Yangju looked at Shen Yuqing, trembling with fear. He knew he couldn't afford to provoke Shen Yuqing. President Shen, this is a private matter between me and He Qingya. It has nothing to do with you, Fu Yangju said, trying to keep his composure. It does now, Shen Yuqing said. I have purchased all of MS, his equity in Yangju Technology. I am now also a shareholder of Yangju Technology. I demand an immediate extraordinary general meeting to consider the motion to remove Fu Yangju from his position as CEO. Fu Yangju looked at Shen Yuqing, then at me, then at the angry employees around him. He knew he had lost today. Gritting his teeth, he said viciously, "Fine, let's have the meeting. I want to see what you can do to me." The extraordinary general meeting was held in the company's large conference room. In addition to me and Fu Yangju, several other minor shareholders were present. These minor shareholders were all friends and relatives of Fu Yangju. Originally they would have certainly sided with Fu Yangju, but today Shen Yuqing was also there. Seeing his icy gaze, they dared not speak. Fu Yangju sat in the main seat, his face dark enough to drip water. We're convening an extraordinary shareholders meeting today with only one agenda item. I stood up and looked at everyone, saying, to remove Fu Yangju as CEO, and for me to temporarily serve as CEO, overseeing the company's daily operations. I object. Fu Yangju immediately stood up. I founded this company, only I am qualified to be CEO. President Fu, that's not how you put it, I said. The company's success today isn't your doing alone, it's the result of the hard work of all our employees. Moreover, during your tenure as CEO, you repeatedly embezzled company funds, causing huge losses to the company. You are no longer qualified to be CEO. You're lying, Fu Yangju shouted. I never embezzled company funds. This is slander. Whether I'm slandering you or not, you know in your heart. I pulled out a stack of bank statements and threw them on the table. Take a good look, everyone. These are all the records of Fu Yangju transferring money from the company account to his personal account over the past 3 years, a total of 12 million. He used all this money to buy houses, cars, and luxury goods for Su Wanqing. And here are Su Wanqing's spending records, each one corresponding to the timing of Fu Yangju's transfers. Fu Yangju, what do you have to say now? Fu Yangju stared at the bank statements on the table, his face turning pale. He opened his mouth but couldn't utter a word. The minor shareholders looked at the statements and began murmuring among themselves. Oh my God, he transferred that much money. That's too much, using our money to support a woman. How can someone like this be CEO? Seeing the reactions of the minor shareholders, Fu Yangju grew even more flustered. This money is what I deserved. Fu Yangju shouted, I am the CEO of the company. I'm entitled to take this money. Entitled? I sneered. President Fu, don't forget that the company isn't yours alone. You are just a manager, not an owner. Your embezzlement of company funds is a violation of the law. If I hand over this evidence to the police, you will go to prison. Fu Yangju trembled with fear. He looked at me, his eyes filled with terror. He Qingya, don't go too far. Fu Yangju gritted his teeth. Fine, I'll just return the money to the company. Return it to the company. I said, of course you will, but not only that, you also have to compensate the company for its losses. Now let's vote. Raise your hand if you agree to remove Fu Yangju from the position of CEO. I was the first to raise my hand. Lin Miao also raised her hand. Then more than a dozen employee representatives raised their hands as well. The minor shareholders looked at each other. Finally they slowly raised their hands too. Only Fu Yangju kept his hand down. Alright, the voting results are in, I said. More than 2/3 of the shareholders agree to remove Fu Yangju from the position of CEO. From now on I will temporarily serve as the CEO of Yangju Technology and oversee the company's daily operations. Fu Yangju, you are fired. Please pack your things and leave the company immediately. Fu Yangju looked at the raised hands filling the room and shook his head in disbelief. Impossible, this is impossible. Fu Yangju shouted, the company is mine, you can't do this to me. Security, please escort Mr. Fu out. I said toward the door. 2 security guards immediately walked in, grabbed Fu Yangju and began escorting him out. He Qingya, I won't let you get away with this. Fu Yangju struggled and shouted, you just wait, I will come back. His voice grew fainter and fainter until it disappeared at the end of the hallway. The conference room fell silent. Then a burst of enthusiastic applause broke out. Great, finally that ungrateful bastard is gone. Sister Qingya, from now on we'll follow you. Yes, with Sister Qingya leading us, we'll definitely make the company even better. Seeing everyone's enthusiasm, I felt deeply moved. Thank you all for your trust, I said with a smile. I promise you, as long as we work together, the company will only get better. And I pledge that by the end of the year we will give everyone raises and bonuses. Your efforts will be duly rewarded. Great. The employees applauded again. After the shareholder meeting ended, I returned to Fu Yangju's office. Looking at this familiar office, my heart was filled with 1,000 emotions. 7 years ago we stayed up late together here, writing code and eating instant noodles. 7 years later I chased him out of this very place. Truly, you never know what fate has in store. Shen Yucheng walked over to me and said with a smile, congratulations, President He. Thank you, President Shen. I looked at him and said sincerely, if it weren't for you I wouldn't have succeeded so smoothly today. Don't thank me, Shen Yucheng said. You deserve all of this. It's your 7 years of hard work that earned everyone's trust. However, Shen Yucheng paused, then added, Fu Yangju isn't going to take this lying down. He'll definitely try to get back at you. You need to be careful. I know, I nodded. I'm already prepared. By the way, I said, I'll pay you back for the equity you bought. 100 million is too much. I can't accept it. No need to pay it back, Shen Yucheng said, looking at me with earnest eyes. As I said, 100 million for your dignity is well worth it. Besides, he added with a smile, I'm now a shareholder in the company too. From now on I'll be counting on you, President He, to take care of me. I looked at his gentle smile, my cheeks warming slightly. Alright, let's take care of each other. Just then my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. I answered it. He Qingya, you're really something, came Su Wanqing's saccharine voice over the line. You actually kicked Yangju out of the company. You're truly ruthless, Su Wanqing. I frowned. Why are you calling me? No reason, Su Wanqing said with a laugh. I just wanted to tell you that Yangju is heartbroken right now. He's been crying at my place for a long time. He says he still loves you. If you're willing to forgive him and give the company back, he's willing to start over with you. Is that so? I sneered. Then tell him I don't need that. He should just stay with you. He Qingya, don't get too smug. Su Wanqing's voice turned cold. Do you think you've won? Let me tell you, as long as I'm here, Yangju won't lose. We will take the company back. Fine, I'll be waiting, I said. But I suggest you worry about yourself first. Your good days are almost over too. With that I hung up. Shen Yucheng looked at me and asked, Su Wanqing? Yeah, I nodded. She's really confident. She thinks Fu Yangju can still make a comeback. She won't be laughing for long, Shen Yucheng said. I've already sent people to investigate her. Soon her true colors will be exposed. I looked at Shen Yucheng and smiled. Yes, Su Wanqing, your good days really are almost over. Over the next few days, I threw myself entirely into running the company. Though Fu Yangju had been driven out, he left behind a huge mess. Many projects had stalled and the employees were anxious. I worked late into the night every day, handling all kinds of issues. Lin Miao kept helping me as well. Together, the two of us slowly managed to get the company back on track. Shen Yuqing also often came to see me at the company. Every time he visited, he brought lots of delicious food. Sometimes he would stay and work late with me, helping me sort out various business problems. With his help, many thorny issues were easily resolved. The company employees noticed it all. They often whispered among themselves, saying that Shen Yuqing and I made a perfect couple. Every time I overheard those comments, I would blush. There's no denying that I was very happy when I was with Shen Yuqing. He was mature, steady, gentle, and considerate, completely different from Fu Yangju. But I had just come out of a failed relationship. I no longer dared to trust love so easily. That afternoon, I went to the mall to buy afternoon tea for my employees. To my surprise, I spotted a familiar figure in the mall's baby and mom section. It was Su Wanqing. Beside her was a scruffer-looking man holding a little boy of about 2 years old. Su Wanqing was picking out formula for the child. She looked very close with the man. He occasionally put his arm around her waist, and she didn't refuse. I was stunned. Didn't Su Wanqing say she had always been single, waiting for Fu Yangju? How could she have a child? And this man, who is he? I quietly followed behind them, overhearing their conversation. Honey, this formula is too expensive. Let's buy a cheaper one. The man spoke. What's too expensive about it? Su Wanqing shot him a glare. Of course my son deserves the best formula anyway. We're spending Fu Yanzhou's money, no reason not to use it. You're really something, dear. The man said with a laugh. Once Fu Yangju takes back the company, we'll be able to buy a big house. Naturally, Su Wanqing said smugly. That fool Fu Yangju has no idea I've been playing him. He actually thinks I truly love him. Once I get all his money, I'll take you and our son abroad to live the good life. I stood not far away, hearing every word clearly. So Su Wanqing had been married all along. This man was her husband, and this child was her son. She didn't come back to Fu Yangju for love at all. It was only to swindle money from him. How utterly ridiculous. The unattainable pure love in Fu Yanzhou's heart turned out to be a married, childbearing scammer. I took out my phone and secretly snapped a few photos. Then I turned and left the mall. Back at the company, I immediately had someone investigate Su Wanqing. Soon, the results came out. Su Wanqing and that man Wang Qiong had gotten married 3 years ago. Their child is now 2.5 years old. Wang Qiong is a gambler who owes a mountain of debt. Su Wanqing has come back this time specifically to swindle money from Fu Yangju to help Wang Qiong pay off his debts. Moreover, the investigation also uncovered that Su Wanqing didn't actually go abroad with a wealthy heir back then. She was fired by the company for stealing money and couldn't face staying in the country, so she left abroad. She didn't do well later. When she heard that Fu Yangju had become successful, she immediately returned, putting on an act of deep devotion and no regret just to cheat Fu Yangju out of his money. Looking at the investigation results, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Fu Yangju, oh Fu Yangju, for a woman like that you abandoned me, the one who struggled and worked hard with you for 7 years. You're truly blind. I took the investigation results and the photos, ready to go find Fu Yangju. I wanted to see his reaction when he found out that the woman he had been pining for, his first love, was actually someone like this. Unexpectedly, before I could go to him, he came to me first. Fu Yangju stormed into my office, his face burning with anger. He Kignya, what exactly are you trying to do? Fu Yangju shouted. Why did you send someone to Tail Wanqing? Why are you investigating her? I looked at him and found it utterly ridiculous. I investigated her so you could see her true colors. I tossed the photos and investigation results in front of him. See for yourself what kind of person your precious first love really is. Fu Yangju picked up the photo and glanced at it. In the picture, Su Wanqing and Wang Qiong were holding a child, smiling brightly. His expression instantly changed. What is this? Fu Yangju said, his voice trembling. This is Su Wanqing with her husband and child, I said. She got married 3 years ago and the child is already 2.5. She came back to you just to swindle your money and help her husband pay off his gambling debts. Impossible, that's impossible. Fu Yangju shouted. Wanqing is not like that. She truly loves me. You fabricated all of this. You made up these lies to get back at me. Fabricated. I laughed coldly. Fu Yangju, can you wake up for a second? Take a look at these investigation results. They include her marriage certificate, The child's birth certificate and her husband's gambling debts, are all of these fake too? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Fu Yangju tossed the photos and investigation results onto the ground. Wanqing wouldn't lie to me, she loves me, you must have forced her to say this. Seeing how stubbornly delusional Fu Yangju was, I was completely speechless. Believe whatever you want, I said. I'm only warning you out of kindness, don't come crying when you lose both the woman and the money with no time to regret. Save your fake kindness, Fu Yangju said viciously. He Qingya, let me tell you, Wanqing and I are truly in love. No matter how much you try to drive us apart, we won't separate. Just you wait, I will definitely take back the company and give Wanqing a grand wedding. With that, Fu Yangju turned and left. Watching his retreating figure, I shook my head. He was hopeless. Since he refused to believe it, there was nothing I could do. He would regret it when he discovered the truth himself. Just then, Shen Yuqing walked in. He saw the photos and investigation results on the floor and picked them up. He still doesn't believe it, Shen Yuqing asked. I nodded. He thinks I fabricated everything and that I'm trying to drive them apart. It's okay, Shen Yuqing said. Paper can't wrap fire. He'll find out the truth sooner or later. And, Shen Yuqing said with a smile, soon enough someone will help us expose her true colors. I looked at him, puzzled. Who? Su Wanqing's husband Wang Qiong, Shen Yuqing said. He's a gambler, give him a little money and he'll do anything. I looked at Shen Yuqing and smiled. Right, Wang Qiong loved money that much. Give him a small incentive, and he would definitely expose Su Wanqing's true colors without hesitation. Fu Yangju, you'll soon find out just how foolish you really are. A week later, the annual banquet for the city's tech industry was held at the International Conference Center. As the new CEO of Yangju Technology, I had also received an invitation. Shen Yuqing accompanied me. He wore a black suit and I wore a long red dress. As we walked into the banquet hall together, we immediately drew everyone's attention. Is that He Qingya? She looks so beautiful now. Yeah, so much more confident than when she was with Fu Yangju. Is that Shen Yuqing beside her? They look so perfect together. It seems He Qingya has finally turned her life around. Listening to the murmurs around me, I felt calm inside. For 7 years I had lived in Fu Yangju's shadow, wearing plain clothes with no makeup. I spent every day revolving around the company and him. Everyone only knew me as Fu Yangju's girlfriend and the finance officer at Yangju Technology. No one knew that I too had dreams and abilities. Now I could finally be myself. Shen Yuqing took my hand and said gently, "Don't be nervous, I'm here with you." I smiled at him. I'm not nervous. Just then Fu Yangju and Su Wanqing also walked in. Fu Yangju was wearing a white suit and Su Wanqing wore a long white dress. They walked in hand, looking very intimate. But anyone with sharp eyes could see that Fu Yangju's expression was grim. His company was taken over, and now he's penniless. If it weren't for Su Wanqing still giving him money, he wouldn't even be qualified to attend the cocktail party. When Fu Yangju saw Shen Yuqing and me, his eyes instantly turned vicious. Su Wanqing also spotted us. She deliberately tightened her grip on Fu Yangju's arm and looked at me defiantly. I couldn't be bothered with them, so I turned and went with Shen Yuqing to greet other entrepreneurs. Before long, the host of the cocktail party took the stage. Good evening, distinguished guests. Welcome to this annual technology industry cocktail party. Today, we are fortunate to have invited many outstanding entrepreneurs. Next, let's welcome Mr. Fu Yangju, founder of Yangju Technology, to the stage for a speech. With a warm round of applause, sporadic applause broke out across the room. Fu Yangju straightened his clothes and walked confidently onto the stage. He picked up the microphone, cleared his throat and began boasting about his entrepreneurial journey. Good evening, dear guests, I am Fu Yangju. 7 years ago, I had nothing but a dream when I founded Yangju Technology. Over these 7 years, I have faced countless difficulties and setbacks, but I never gave up. Finally, through my efforts, Yangju Technology has become a leader in the industry. Here, I want to thank my beloved wife, Ms. Su Wanqing. It is she who has silently supported me from behind and given me strength. Without her, I would not be who I am today. As Fu Yangju spoke, he gazed affectionately at Su Wanqing in the audience. Su Wanqing, moved to tears, waved back at him. The guests in the audience showed looks of contempt. Everyone knew that Yangju Technology owed its success to He Qingya. Fu Yangju had taken all the credit for himself and even thanked the woman who had swindled him. It was utterly shameless. Fu Yangju seemed not to notice the guests' expressions and continued boasting. In the future, I will lead Yangju Technology to keep striving and create even more brilliance. Thank you everyone. After speaking, he bowed to the audience. The applause from below grew even sparser. Just as Fu Yangju was about to step off the stage, I took the microphone and walked up. President Fu, please wait a moment. Fu Yangju's expression changed instantly when he saw me. He Qingya, what are you trying to do? I'm not trying to do anything. I smiled and said, I just want to add a few words. I picked up the microphone and addressed all the guests. Good evening everyone. I am He Qingya, co-founder and current CEO of Yangju Tech. Just now Mr. Fu said that he founded Yangju Tech single-handedly. That's something I cannot agree with. 7 years ago Mr. Fu approached me with a business plan. It was I who gave him all my savings, plus my parents' 200,000 yuan in retirement funds as his startup capital. When the company was first founded, there were only the two of us. He handled the technology while I took care of finance, administration, HR, and sales. To land our first order, I slept only 3 hours a day for an entire month. I drank so much that I ended up with a stomach hemorrhage and was hospitalized. To save money, we lived in a basement for 2 years, no heating in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer. Over these 7 years, I never took a single full vacation, never bought a single piece of clothing that cost more than 1,000 yuan. I gave up my dream of becoming a designer, gave up the opportunity to study abroad, and supported him wholeheartedly. But what did I get in return? On our wedding day, in front of all the guests, he switched the bride. He accused me of forcing him into marriage and coveting his wealth. He and his mother joined forces to slap me and kick me out of the Fu family. My voice was calm but firm, clearly resonating through the entire banquet hall. All the guests listened in silence, their eyes full of sympathy and anger. I took out my phone and connected it to the big screen. Photos and videos from the past 7 years began to play. Pictures of us working in the basement, of me on an 4 drip in the hospital, of me staying up late revising contracts. There were also Fu Yangju's transfer records to Su Wanqing, invoices for the house and car he bought for her, one after another, clear and unmistakable. Mr. Fu said that without Su Wanqing there would be no him today. I say that without me, He Qingya, there would be no Yangju Tech as it stands today. Mr. Fu takes all the credit for himself, yet forgets the woman who endured 7 years of hardship with him. He took the money I earned and spent it on another woman, then he turned around and slandered me, hurt me. A man like that does not deserve to be called an entrepreneur. A man like that does not deserve anyone's respect. With that, I put down the microphone. The entire room fell dead silent, then thunderous applause broke out. Well said, that was absolutely right, President He. Fu Yangju is such an ingrate. I'll never work with someone like him again. Several entrepreneurs who had cooperated with Yangju Tech stood up on the spot and said, President He, as for our cooperation with Yangju Tech, we only recognize you from now on. We'll work with you directly. That's right, we only recognize President He. On the stage, Fu Yangju stood frozen, his face pale, his whole body trembling. He looked at the furious guests, then at the evidence on the big screen. Not a single word came out. Su Wanqing, sitting in the audience, had also turned deathly pale. She wanted to stand up and defend herself, but the stares around her frightened her into stillness. I looked at Fu Yangju and said calmly, Mr. Fu, I've said what I needed to say. You may leave the stage. Fu Yangju gritted his teeth and shot me a vicious glare. Then he scurried off the stage in humiliation. Watching his fleeing figure, I felt no sense of satisfaction, only a sense of relief. The grievances of 7 years had finally been poured out today. Shen Yucheng walked over to me and took my hand. You did very well, he said gently. I looked at him and smiled. Yes, I did very well. From today onward, I am no longer that humble He Qingya. After the cocktail party ended, I left with Shen Yucheng. Sitting in the car, I gazed at the night scenery outside the window, feeling very calm inside. Although my speech at the party had ruined Fu Yangju's reputation, I knew he wouldn't let it go so easily. He would definitely find a way to retaliate against me. And sure enough, just as I expected, the next morning, as soon as I arrived at the company, I was taken away by the police. Ms. He Qingya, we have received a report accusing you of embezzling 12 million yuan from Yangju Technology's public funds. Please come with us to cooperate with the investigation. 2 police officers stood before me and produced a summons warrant. I knew very well in my heart that this was definitely Fu Yangju's doing. He had fabricated evidence of my embezzlement and called the police to have me arrested. trying to ruin my reputation and take the company back. Alright, I'll go with you, I said calmly. Qingya, Lin Miao hurried over anxiously. This must be Fu Yangju framing you. I'm going with you. No need, meow meow, I smiled and said. I didn't embezzle the funds, the police will get to the bottom of it. You stay at the company and keep an eye on things. But, don't worry, I'll be back soon. I followed the police out of the company. Shen Yuqing's car was parked at the company entrance. Seeing me being taken away by the police, he immediately got out of the car and walked over. What's going on? Shen Yuqing asked anxiously. Fu Yangju reported me for embezzling company funds, I said. It's okay, I'll just cooperate with the investigation. Don't worry, Shen Yuqing took my hand. I've already sent my lawyer over, he'll take care of everything. I nodded with Shen Yuqing by my side. I wasn't afraid at all. At the police station, the officers questioned me. Fu Yangju had forged a lot of evidence, including fake transfer records and falsified financial statements. It looked as though I had really embezzled public funds, but I wasn't the least bit panicked. Because I had the real account books and transfer records in my hands, that was more than enough to prove my innocence. Soon after Shen Yuqing's lawyer arrived, the lawyer brought all the evidence proving that I had not embezzled public funds. At the same time, the lawyer also submitted proof that Fu Yangju had fabricated the evidence. After verification, the police found that all the evidence submitted by Fu Yangju was forged. They immediately dropped the charges against me. Not only that, but the police also opened an investigation into Fu Yangju's actions of forging evidence and filing a false accusation. In the afternoon, I was released from the police station. Shen Yuqing was waiting for me at the entrance. Seeing me come out, he immediately walked up to me. Are you okay? Shen Yuqing looked me over, asking with concern. I'm fine, I said with a smile. Nothing happened at all. I'm sorry, this is all my fault, Shen Yuqing said guiltily. I never imagined Fu Yangju could be so despicable. It's not your fault, I said. Fu Yangju is just too insane. But, I said with a smile, this time he tried to steal a chicken only to lose the rice. Not only did he fail to frame me, but he ended up trapping himself. The police have already opened an investigation into his false accusation. He brought this all upon himself, Shen Yuqing said coldly, and I won't let him off so easily. I've already had my lawyer sue him, demanding compensation for the damage to your reputation and your emotional distress. Thank you, Shen Yuqing, I said, looking at him sincerely. During this time, if he hadn't been by my side, helping and supporting me, I truly didn't know if I could have made it through. Don't thank me, Shen Yuqing said, looking at me with tender eyes. Protecting you is something I do willingly. My heart skipped a beat. Looking into his deep eyes, my cheeks grew slightly warm. I quickly turned my head away, afraid to look at him any longer. Shen Yuqing smiled at my shy reaction. Come on, I'll take you out for something good to eat to calm your nerves. Okay, we got into the car together. The car slowly drove away from the police station. I looked out the window, my heart feeling warm. So this is what it feels like to be protected. So wonderful. Just then my phone rang. It was Fu Yangju calling. I answered. He Qingya, you bitch. Fu Yangju screamed hysterically on the other end. How dare you have the police arrest me? I won't let you get away with this. Fu Yangju, you were the one who falsely accused me first, I said coldly. This outcome is entirely your own doing. My own doing, Fu Yangju shouted. If you hadn't stolen my company and everything I had, would I have done this? It's all your fault. You pushed me to this. Fu Yangju, can you be reasonable? I said, the company was half mine to begin with. You were the ungrateful one who tried to take the whole company for yourself and humiliated me by swapping the bride at our wedding. I only took back what was rightfully mine. I don't care, Fu Yangju yelled. Everything I've lost, I will take back piece by piece. I'll make you pay. With that he hung up. I looked at my phone and shook my head. Fu Yangju has gone mad. He's completely lost his mind. He's capable of anything now. What's wrong? Shen Yuqing asked. Nothing, I said. Fu Yangju threatened me, said he'd make me pay. Shen Yuqing's eyes turned instantly cold. He wouldn't dare, Shen Yuqing said. I'll have people protect you 24/7. He can't hurt you. Thank you, I said, looking at him deeply moved. Don't thank me, Shen Yuqing said, holding my hand. I told you I will always protect you. I looked into his gentle eyes and nodded. With him by my side, I have nothing to fear. Fu Yangju's false accusation didn't harm me in the slightest. Instead, it only landed him in even bigger trouble. The police have opened an investigation into his false accusation. If convicted, he could face up to 3 years in prison. Meanwhile, many companies that had with Yangju Technology successively terminated their cooperation. Banks also began urging loan repayments. Fu Yanzhou's situation grew increasingly difficult. He pinned all his hopes on Su Wanqing. He thought that Su Wanqing would always stand by him and help him weather the crisis, but he didn't know that Su Wanqing had long wanted to leave him. Seeing that Fu Yangju had lost everything and was entangled in lawsuits, Su Wanqing realized he no longer held any value. She began secretly transferring what remained of Fu Yanzhou's assets, preparing to take the money and run. All of this was observed by Shen Yuqing's men. Shen Yuqing told me about it. I smiled and said, "It seems Su Wanqing's true colors will soon be revealed." "Yeah," Shen Yuqing said, "I've already gotten in touch with Wang Qiong. As soon as he gets the money, he'll go straight to Fu Yangju and expose Su Wanqing's true colors." "Good," I nodded. "I really can't wait to see the look on Fu Yanzhou's face when he finds out the truth." Within a few days, the drama began. That day, Fu Yangju was at home with Su Wanqing, discussing how to take the company back. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Wang Qiong burst in, followed by several fierce-looking men. "Su Wanqing, you bitch, how dare you trick me?" Wang Qiong shouted as he charged forward and slapped Su Wanqing across the face. Su Wanqing was knocked to the ground, covering her face as she looked at Wang Qiong in disbelief. "Wang Qiong, why are you here? Why can't I be here?" Wang Qiong said viciously. "You take my money, keep a toy boy on the side and try to run away with the cash. You think I'm a fool?" "I didn't," Su Wanqing shouted. "Don't listen to their nonsense. Fu Yangju and I are just friends." "Friends?" Wang Qiong sneered, pulling out a stack of photos and throwing them in front of Fu Yangju. "Do friends sleep together? Do friends spend his money to buy houses and cars?" "Su Wanqing, stop putting on an act." Fu Yangju looked at the photo on the ground, then at Wang Qiong and then at Su Wanqing. Finally he understood. It turned out that everything he had said before was true. Su Wanqing had really been married for a long time. She had only been after his money. "Wanqing, is what he said true?" Fu Yangju asked, his voice trembling. Su Wanqing knew the truth was out. There was no point in pretending anymore. She picked herself up from the floor, dusted off her clothes and said coldly, "Yes, it's true. He's my husband and we have a 2-year-old son. I came back to you just to swindle your money and help my husband pay off his gambling debts. Now that you have nothing left, you're of no use to me. Let's end it here." Fu Yangju looked at Su Wanqing in disbelief. You've been lying to me all along. You never loved me." "Love you?" Su Wanqing laughed, her smile bitterly sarcastic. "Fu Yangju, why don't you take a good look at yourself? What do you have besides some money? How could I ever fall for you? If you hadn't been broke back then, I wouldn't have dumped you. Now that you're broke again, of course I'm leaving you. You bitch." Fu Yangju trembled with rage and raised his hand to strike her, but before he could touch Su Wanqing, Wang Qiong blocked him. Wang Qiong punched Fu Yangju in the face. "You dare hit my wife, you've got a death wish." Several men immediately rushed over and started kicking and beating Fu Yangju. He was left lying on the ground, unable to move. Su Wanqing watched him being beaten without a trace of sympathy. She went into the bedroom and took out a suitcase she had packed long ago. "Wang Qiong, let's go," Su Wanqing said. "All right." Wang Qiong replied, then kicked Fu Yangju one more time. "Kid, you're lucky, we'll let you off today." With that, Wang Qiong led Su Wanqing and the men away from Fu Yanzhou's house. Before leaving, Su Wanqing even took the last bit of cash from Fu Yanzhou's wallet. Inside the house, Fu Yangju was left alone. He lay on the floor, covered in injuries on his face. It was impossible to tell blood from tears. He never imagined that the unattainable love he had cherished for so many years would turn out to be such a woman. For her, he had abandoned He Qingya, who had stood by him through 7 years of hard work. For her, he had alienated everyone, lost his reputation and ruined his career. In the end, she had tricked him out of both love and money. How utterly ridiculous. Fu Yangju lay on the floor, breaking down in agony. His cries were filled with regret and despair, but it was all too late. In this world, there is no such thing as a regret pill. Everything he was suffering now, he had brought upon himself. Su Wanqing took all of Fu Yanzhou's money and disappeared without a trace. Fu Yangju was beaten so badly that he was hospitalized. Lying on the hospital bed, the more he thought about it, the more he regretted it, regretting that he shouldn't have betrayed me back then. Regretting that he shouldn't have trusted Su Wanqing. If he hadn't switched brides at the wedding back then, if he had cherished me well back then, now he would be the happiest person in the world. But there is no what if. He destroyed everything with his own hands. Fu Yangju lay in the hospital bed and called me countless times. I didn't answer a single one. He also sent me countless messages apologizing and begging for my forgiveness. I blocked him immediately. It's too late to regret it now. I just want to quickly wrap up the Yangju technology matter. Then I'll start my life over. After Fu Yanzhou's antics, Yangju technology has been severely weakened. Many clients have left, and quite a few employees have also resigned. Continuing to run the business will only get harder. Lin Miao and I discussed it and decided to dissolve the company and liquidate its assets. This decision received support from all employees and shareholders. Everyone knows the company has no hope left. Liquidating sooner will allow everyone to recover at least some money. I submitted the application for company dissolution to the court. The court accepted it quickly. A liquidation team was set up to handle the company's assets. The liquidation process went very smoothly. The company's assets, including office equipment, intellectual property, and bank deposits, totaled 100 million. According to the share ratio, I received 30 million. The other shareholders also got their respective shares. The employees received their due wages and compensation. Although Fu Yangju was a major shareholder, due to his misappropriation of company funds, forgery of evidence and false accusations, the court ruled that all his shares would be used to compensate for the company's losses, so he didn't get a single cent. Not only that, but he also ended up with millions in debt. On the last day of liquidation, I stood in the empty office, looking at everything so familiar, feeling deeply moved. 7 years of youth, 7 years of dedication. In the end I got 30 million. I can't say if it was worth it or not. At least I got back what belonged to me. At least I got rid of Fu Yangju. Qingya, it's all packed. Lin Miao came over and patted me on the shoulder. Yes, I nodded. Let's go. Lin Miao and I walked out of the office building together. The sunlight fell on us, warm and dazzling. I looked back. The sign for Yangju Technology had already been taken down. 7 years of time came down with it. From then on, there was no more Yangju Technology, no more Fu Yanzhou's girlfriend He Qingya, only me. He Qingya, what are you going to do next? Lin Miao asked. I'm going to Paris for a while, I said with a smile. I've already applied to a design school in Paris to study interior design. Really, that's great, Lin Miao said happily. You finally get to pursue your dream again. Yes, I nodded. After 7 years I can finally live for myself. What about me? Lin Miao said pitifully. What will I do when you're gone? You, I said. With a smile, President Shen has already invited you to be the technical director at Shen Group's tech company. The salary is double what you make now. Really? Lin Miao's eyes lit up. Did President Shen really say that? Of course, I said with a smile. President Shen really admires your talent. That's wonderful. Lin Miao jumped for joy. Qingya, thank you. Don't thank me, I said. This is all the result of your own efforts. Just then Shen Yuqing's car drove up. He got out, walked over to me, and said with a smile, all done. Yes, all done. I nodded. That's good, Shen Yuqing said. I've already booked your ticket. You'll fly to Paris next Monday. Thank you, Shen Yuqing, I said, looking at him sincerely. I really owed him a lot during this time. Without him I wouldn't have gotten back what was mine so smoothly, nor would I have been able to pick up my dream again so quickly. No need to thank me, Shen Yuqing said, looking at me with tender eyes. I'll wait for you to come back. My heart skipped a beat. Looking into his affectionate eyes, I nodded. Okay, I will come back. The news that I was going to Paris somehow reached Zhong Guilan, Fu Yanzhou's mother. That day I was packing my luggage when the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw Zhong Guilan standing at the doorstep. Her hair was grey and her clothes were tattered. She looked much older. She was completely different from the arrogant and overbearing mother-in-law she used to be. Upon seeing me, Zhong Guilan fell to her knees. With a thud, Qingya, I beg you, please help Yangju, Zhong Guilan said tearfully. I frowned and tried to help her up. Auntie, please get up first. Whatever you need to say, let's talk after you're on your feet. I'm not getting up. Zhong Guilan clung to my leg, refusing to rise. If you won't agree to help Yangju, I'll stay kneeling right here. Auntie, I no longer have any connection with Fu Yangju, I said coldly. I'm not obligated to help him. Qingya, I know I was wrong, Zhong Guilan sobbed. It was all my fault before. I shouldn't have been so harsh to you, shouldn't have hit you, shouldn't have forced you to leave Yangju. I apologize to you. I'll kowtow to you. With that, Zhong Guilan began kowtowing to me. The thudding sounds of her forehead hitting the floor made me deeply uncomfortable. Auntie, Please don't do this, I said, helping her up with some effort. I've already forgotten the past. That's good that you've forgotten. Zhong Guilan took my hand and said excitedly, Qingya. For the sake of the 7 years we shared, please help Yangju. He's in a terrible state now. Su Wanqing swindled him out of all his money, and he's also caught up in a lawsuit. The debt collectors come after him every day. He knows he was wrong, he truly knows it. He talks about you every day, saying how sorry he is to you. Qingya, just forgive him this once. The two of you can start over, alright? I looked at Zhong Guilan and felt not a shred of sympathy. I would never forget how she had treated me back then. On my wedding day, she slapped me in front of all the guests and called me a hen that doesn't lay eggs. Now that Fu Yangju had fallen on hard times, she came running to beg me. How could things be so easy in this world? Auntie, I will not forgive him, I said coldly, pulling my hand back. He was the one who destroyed our relationship with his own hands. He swapped the bride at the wedding, slandered me and framed me. Not kicking him when he's down is already the best I can do, but he was someone you once loved. Zhong Guilan sobbed. How can you be so heartless? Once loved. I laughed bitterly. That's all in the past. I don't love him anymore. I'm leaving for Paris soon and I'm never coming back. Don't look for me again. No, Qingya, you can't leave. Zhong Guilan tried to kneel again. If you leave, what will happen to Yangju? He'll die. Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with me, I said coldly. Just then my parents arrived. They looked at Zhong Guilan, then at me and sighed. Qingya, my mother said, taking my hand, Mom knows you've suffered a lot, but a day as husband and wife means 100 days of kindness. Fu Yangju is in such a bad state now, you should help him. Yes, Qingya, my father added, spare others when you can. For our sake, help him this once. Mom, Dad, how can you side with her too? I looked at my parents in disbelief. When Fu Yangju abandoned me, when Zhong Guilan slapped me back then, you didn't speak up for me, and now that he's down you want me to help him. Have you ever considered my feelings? My parents were left speechless. I know you mean well, I said, but I will not help him. The money I have was earned with 7 years of my youth. I won't give it to someone who betrayed and hurt me. Don't try to persuade me anymore. I've made up my mind. With that, I took out my phone and played a recording. It was Zhong Guilan's voice on the wedding day, cursing me. You useless hen who can't lay eggs, get out of our Fu family now that our Yangju has money. He can find any kind of woman he wants. If you keep clinging to him, I'll make sure you regret it. When the recording finished, I looked at Zhong Guilan and said coldly, Auntie, I will never forget those words you said, so please don't come looking for me again. We settled things long ago. Zhong Guilan's face went pale. She couldn't say another word. Silently, she turned and left, watching her lonely figure. I felt nothing. The pitiable often have hateful traits. She brought all of this on herself. My parents sighed and stopped trying to convince me. All right, since you've decided, we won't push you, my mother said. Take care of yourself in Paris. I will, Mom and Dad. I nodded. After seeing my parents out, I closed the door and leaned against it, letting out a long breath. Finally, everything was settled. Finally, I could leave for good on Monday. I dragged my suitcase to the airport. Lin Miao and Shen Yuqing both came to see me off. Qingya, once you get to Paris, you must call me. Lin Miao hugged me reluctantly and said, I'm going to miss you. I will, I said with a smile. You take good care of yourself too. Work hard at the Shen Group, and when I come back we'll start a company together. Deal? It's a promise. Lin Miao nodded firmly. I turned around and looked at Shen Yuqing. He looked at me, his eyes full of reluctance. When you get to Paris, remember to let me know you're safe, Shen Yuqing said. If anything happens, call me anytime. No matter how late it is, I'll be there. Okay, I nodded. Thank you, Shen Yuqing. I really owe you a lot for all your help during this time. No need to thank me. Shen Yuqing looked at me with a serious expression. I'll wait for you to come back. When you return, there's something I want to tell you. My heart skipped a beat. I looked into his deep eyes and nodded. Okay, I'll wait for you. Just then a familiar figure rushed over. It was Fu Yangju. He was wearing a worn-out t-shirt, his hair was disheveled and there were still unhealed scars on his face. He looked utterly haggard. Qingya, Qingya. Don't go. Fu Yangju dashed over and grabbed my arm. Fu Yangju, let go of me. I fiercely shook off his hand. Qingya, I beg you, please don't go. Fu Yangju knelt before me, crying as he spoke. I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have betrayed you, shouldn't have switched the bride at the wedding, shouldn't have slandered you, shouldn't have falsely accused you. I shouldn't have believed that bitch Su Wanqing. I was blind. I've wronged you. Please, give me one more chance, alright? I'll treat you well, I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Please don't go, don't leave me. Fu Yangju clung to my legs, weeping inconsolably. The people around us gathered, pointing and whispering. I looked down at Fu Yangju kneeling on the ground, but I felt nothing. If this had been half a year ago, if he had begged me like this, I might have softened, but not now. My heart had long been shattered by him. Fu Yangju, get up, I said calmly. I will not forgive you. Why? Fu Yangju looked up, tears streaming down his face. I already know I was wrong. Why won't you forgive me? Because some wounds once inflicted can never be healed, I said. When you switched the bride at the wedding, did you ever think about forgiving me when you falsely accused me of coveting your wealth? Did you ever think about forgiving me when you called the police to have me arrested? Did you ever think about forgiving me? Now that you have nothing left, you finally feel regret, but it's too late. I don't love you anymore. I'm about to leave for Paris and start a new life. There's no chance for us anymore. No, that's impossible. Fu Yangju cried out. You must still love me, otherwise you wouldn't have helped me get the company back. Helped you get the company back. I laughed. Fu Yangju, you flatter yourself too much. What I took back is mine. It has nothing to do with you. Everything I have now, I earned through my own efforts. It wasn't given to you. Fu Yangju, wake up, stop fooling yourself. No, I don't believe it. Fu Yangju shouted. Qingya, you can't do this to me. Without you I can't go on. That's your problem, I said coldly. I turned to Shen Yuqing and said, let's go. Shen Yuqing nodded, took my hand, and we walked toward the security checkpoint. Qingya, don't go, Fu Yangju yelled from behind. I'll wait for you. I'll always wait for you to come back. I did not look back. I did not stop walking. The past 7 years were finally over. Goodbye, Fu Yangju, goodbye forever. Passing through security, I glanced back. Shen Yuqing stood where we had parted, waving at me. Fu Yangju knelt on the ground, sobbing in utter collapse. I took a deep breath, turned, and walked into the boarding gate. The plane took off, soaring into the clouds. I looked out the window at the city growing smaller below, my heart utterly calm. Goodbye, city full of pain. Goodbye, man I once loved for 7 years. Starting today, I live for myself. 1 year later, Paris. My personal design exhibition was held at the most famous art gallery in Paris. The theme of this exhibition was New Beginning. On display were all the works I had created over the past year. Each piece carried my farewell to the past and my hopes for the future. The design exhibition was a great success. It attracted many internationally renowned designers and collectors. My work received high praise. Many people also extended collaboration invitations to me, standing on the stage, holding the Best New Designer award, looking at the warm applause from the audience. I finally understand. So after leaving the wrong person, I can live such a good life, so I can shine brightly too. After the design exhibition, Shen Yuqing appeared at the entrance of the gallery. He held a bouquet of white roses and looked at me with a smile. Congratulations, designer. Shen Yuqing handed the white roses to me. Thank you, Shen Yuqing. I took the roses and said happily, why are you here? I'm here to take you home. Shen Yuqing looked at me with tender eyes. My heart skipped a beat. Home? I asked in confusion. Shen Yuqing nodded. I've already registered the design company in Shanghai for you. The office is also fully renovated. We're just waiting for you, the boss, to return. Really? I said happily. That's wonderful. Moreover, Shen Yuqing paused, looked into my eyes, and said earnestly, I want to give you a home as well. Qingya, marry me. With that, Shen Yuqing went down on one knee and took out a ring box. Inside the ring box was a uniquely designed diamond ring, my favorite style. I know you've been hurt before and are afraid to believe in love again, Shen Yuqing said, but I am willing to spend my entire life healing you. I will respect your dreams, support your career, and love everything about you. Will you marry me? Looking into Shen Yuqing's sincere eyes, I couldn't help but let my tears fall. Over the past year, he had sent me messages every day, caring about my life. Whenever I faced difficulties, he was always the first to appear. With his gentleness and patience, he slowly healed the wounds in my heart, making me believe in love again. I nodded firmly. I do. Shen Yuqing happily slipped the ring onto my finger. Then he stood up and held me tightly. The people around us all started applauding. Leaning against Shen Yuqing, I smiled with boundless happiness. A month later, Shen Yuqing and I returned to Shanghai. We started our own design firm. We named it Qingya Design. Lin Miao also resigned from the Shen Group to help me. The three of us worked hard together and made the company better and better. Soon, Qingya Design became a well-known firm in the industry. and I became a nationally renowned interior designer. One day Shen Yuqing and I went to a construction site to check on a project. Unexpectedly, we ran into Fu Yangju there, dressed in worn-out work clothes. He was carrying bricks, his skin was tanned, and his hands were covered with calluses. He looked much older. When he saw me, he froze, then lowering his head in shame, he turned to leave. Fu Yangju, I called out to him. He stopped, turned around, and dared not look me in the eye. What is it? He asked quietly. Nothing, I said. I just wanted to tell you, live a good life. Fu Yangju looked up at me, then at Shen Yuqing beside me. His eyes were filled with regret and envy. I understand, he said, nodding. Wish you happiness. With that, he turned and went back to carrying bricks. Watching his retreating figure, I felt calm inside. No hatred, no sympathy, only a touch of melancholy. If back then he hadn't been so ungrateful, he would probably be living well now, but sadly there are no what ifs. What are you thinking about? Shen Yuqing held my hand and asked gently. Nothing, I said with a smile. It's just life is so good right now. Yes, Shen Yuqing said with a smile, and it will only get better. I leaned against him and gazed at the setting sun in the distance. The golden sunlight poured over us, warm and dazzling. I knew it, my new life had just begun. For the rest of my days, I would live alongside those who love me, becoming the person I most want to be.